Accelerationism from Heart Tour 2. Accelerationism is when, like, say you're fighting a war against your enemies. An ideas war, mind you. Although, maybe could apply to a real war. You're fighting a war of ideas against your enemies, and you want to win, and you're against what they're saying, and they're coming out with shit that is just intolerable, horrific to you, extremely not good. You're reeling against their ideas, you hate their ideas, you know that the things they're doing lead the world down a dark path, and you're trying to stop it. Well, you know, a lot of times it's quite hard for you to stop it. It's quite a noble pursuit in you trying to stop it, but it's very difficult. And also occasionally the enemy will get the upper hand and they'll start winning, and you know, at some point you think you're getting so many losers that actually you can turn that itself into a tactic. And the tactic is that whatever bad thing your enemy is doing, you, instead of fighting against it so much, you decide tactically to let them win in such a way that not only are you letting them win, that you're giving them more of what they wanted than they wanted. You're giving them everything they wanted, in fact, and you're giving it to them faster than they can take. You're giving them everything they need, everything they ever wanted, and a lot more of what they wanted, and faster. And it's accelerationism. Basically, you're getting them to their chosen destination, which you know is bad, fast enough. Essentially, you know, if someone wants to have, let's say the SJWs are trying to take every film and every piece of media and make it extremely SJW and socialist in how it is. So they're taking like all the white characters and all the well-known characters and turning them black when everyone knows they're meant to be white to begin with, rather than them like inventing new stories that are good, or inventing new characters of their own that are black that are good, which they could be doing. Well, instead of just fighting against that, why not turn it into accelerationism? You know, make every film have a black, disabled, transgender, lesbian, queer, female, I don't even know if you can mix half those things, commie, lead character and supporting characters. Like, every film is just that. Just all of them. They're all fat and they're all in wheelchairs. Like, just across the board, every character. And then the more you push them towards the destination that they've been trying to achieve, and the more you push them further and give them even more than what they want, the more, well, first of all, everyone around them that disagrees with them a little bit is going to disagree with them a lot. Everyone who disagrees with them a lot is going to disagree with them a lot more and give them even more shit for it. And they themselves are going to also be like, what the fuck, are we doing the same thing over and over again? And it's like, just, are we planifying and homogenizing all our own movies? They don't look like anything like what we even ourselves remember in the past. Oh, but it's inclusive, it's diverse. You know, they spout these things out that are the opposite of what they actually mean. And just like, that's an acceleration form. So the feminist accelerationism would be like, give women all the jobs, give them all the power, make women completely in charge, give women, like, they're the only ones in the military, it's only women military, deny men access to the military, make women in every high up position, make all the presidential government staff women, make all the high CEOs women, just make everyone women. And you know, turn men into this slave race of nothingness who have nothing and just mill around, unable to do anything, even slightly. Some would say it's getting like that now, but that's not because of accelerationism, that's because that's just how they're going. So just push them all the way to the brink of their own ideas, essentially. It's an interesting tactic. Sometimes, or most of the time, it's not a good thing to choose, because it just ends up with bad stuff for you. You know, you're giving the enemy what they want, and a lot of it via, you know, using your own power to get them there. you're basically saying that you are prepared to endure a very long, harsh time because you believe this tactic will work. And that is a gamble, it's a risk to take. So you're choosing your own risk when you take that course of action to do the accelerationism, because you know you're going through a dark time anyway because they're attacking you and they're doing these horrible things. But you know that if you just endure a little more and go through an even darker time for hopefully a shorter period, because you're speeding everything up, then you can get past the dark times entirely and move on to the good times, because the enemy will fall apart under the weight of their own ideas. Yeah, so it's interesting. It's a tactic that the left pretty much never uses, I think. The left never uses rightist or conservative acceleration against the right, but the right will use leftist acceleration sometimes, or they'll play with it. They'll think, like, maybe we can try this, and use leftist acceleration against themselves. I think the centrists are more better placed, actually, to use both of the sides' accelerationism against them, especially because they're in such a minority compared to the two, and compared to the normies. And I think the normies might actually feel the brunt of it, and they can, I guess like the proles in 1984, but that didn't work out so well in the novel. You think if the normies feel the accelerationism of you pushing one side as far as it will go, then they'll revolt or join an opposing side. That's another play that you can make with the accelerationism tactic. But yeah, it's a difficult tactic to try, because you know that you've got to be mentally tough enough to endure more of the horrors that you're already fighting against in order to use the tactic. And it might not 100% pay off. You might just give them all of what they want, which is horrific, and they might just stay there for longer than you're expecting. Just stick with that, because maybe they've got nowhere else to go. They don't have any alternatives in mind for what would happen if they got everything they wanted and realized it was bad. They wouldn't really have anywhere to go after that, maybe. Anyway, that's a first little talk on accelerationism, I guess. Thank you for watching.